What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today is an exciting day because we're finally going to be livening up the Corvette, throwing in an exhaust on it, because right now it's kind of like in pappy mode, and we need it to be in like race car mode. So here it is. Right here in front of us, we have a Borla S-Type, cap back on both sides, of course, and then we also went with a Borla X-Pipe. So all 3-inch back. Ended up going with the 4-inch round tips. I think there's a couple different options for tips for these exhaust setups. However, I did the 4-inch round just because I do like it round versus like the oval style. And I had my guy at 724 Fab powder coat these gloss black for me, since everything else on the car is of course black. I don't want any chrome tips because these do come chrome, so everything else right now is red and black, so figure we do the same thing with the exhaust tips. So don't want to bore you guys too long on this one. Just honestly want to get the car up in the air. We'll get the exhaust mounted up, we'll go for a drive and see how she sounds. Got a bunch of befores and afters here to show you guys, so let's go.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working.
All right, muffler's out, but we kind of got to see what the car sounds like, just like with no mufflers at all. So let's do that.
That's a sick ass beat.
Guys, so old exhaust and everything is off the car. Did have to break the sawzall out one more time to get the old H-pipe out. I'll be honest with you, I've never really even been underneath this car, never even seen what it looks like to see what I had to do. What you had to do, I thought I kind of bought like a catless H-pipe, turns out I didn't. Of course, stock headers up there. Here goes the H-pipe, the factory one, here's the cats. And then what you had to do is cut. You had to cut the old H-pipe out in order to fit the new X-pipe in. So right here is your old H-pipe, I guess, and here would be my new X-pipe. And then, however, of course, the old school big old mufflers, these things are freaking heavy. You could hear the girth there versus like our nice new stuff. Like, that's a big difference. If that's like 10 pounds, those suckers are like at least like 30. So literally just gonna put the new X-pipe on. We're gonna bolt up the new mufflers. We're gonna try to line the tips up the best we can, and we're going to see exactly, stop that. We're gonna see exactly how this sucker sounds. So not that it didn't sound ridiculous with no mufflers. However, it sounded super raspy. I'm sure that's super annoying inside the cab. And sounds like a freaking boat. So get the new, actually, here's another one. While this is off, check your sway bar, guys, because I'm gonna need myself a new sway bar. Bushings are shot on this sway bar, like completely. So we'll order a new sway bar. If y'all guys have recommendations on aftermarket sway bars, let a brother know.
A few moments later.
What do you think, guys? I think it sounds pretty good. I'm very happy with the sound. I went with the Borla S-Type as opposed to the Borla Attack. I thought about going the Attack route, which is the loudest. The Borla S-Type, which is this, is like the mid-grade, and then of course they have the Touring, which is like their Grandpa Mode Plus. So I went with the Borla S. I think it sounds pretty good. I'll be 100% honest. I'm very, very, very disappointed with fitment. Let me explain. I know in general these cars, when putting exhausts on, it is kind of hard to get the tips and everything to line up, and honestly I don't think the tips look terrible. Here's where it looks terrible. If you start to go down, you could probably see what I'm talking about. Look how nice and flush that muffler is versus how cockeyed that one is, and it's like that for a reason. So I did, of course, the entire X-Pipe, and I also did exhaust, right, tailpipes and mufflers. So the X-Pipe, you could probably see the X-Pipe is up there, right? And then I got these nice muffler pieces that go onto the tailpipe. The driver's side fit up perfectly. Perfectly every single time with no issues. I did struggle getting the passenger side to line up. So if I straighten the muffler out at all, it throws these tips all the way up into the bumper. Also, you could probably see it. The exhaust is actually touching the trunk. It's touching the trunk because that is like the only way I could get that side to line up. The other way I had it, the exhaust was touching the trunk and resting also on the transmission. Like literally, I took this exhaust on and off probably about 4 times, no lie, and I can never get that passenger side to line up any better. It's still touching something no matter what. So to be honest, for $2,000, the fitment is absolute dog shit. However, it does make itself up a little bit with the sound because I do think it sounds good. I'll be honest, I drove it last night after being frustrated with it, and I was kind of unhappy with the sound also. Thought it was super quiet at idle, and then honestly in the car, even though Borla claims there's no drone, there's some drone. But honestly, all day today, since it's kind of sunny out, I've been driving it with the windows down. Absolutely perfect. There's just the right amount of pop when you're downshifting, and it sounds good. There's a good amount of tone in general. It's not super crazy loud. However, like with the windows up, it is a little obnoxious, but probably 90% of the time this car is on the road, windows will be down, we will be cruising freeway. So shout out to 724 Fab for 2 things. A, getting me this exhaust set up because I did order it through him. He is a dealer for stuff like this, and also for powder coating the tips gloss black. They look awesome. I'm so glad I went with black because standard chrome tips would just not fit in with everything else on this car being black. So like I said, I'm disappointed with the fitment. I do plan on reaching out to Borla. It's almost like the 1-2 that they bent up and over for the exhaust is not bent properly, because no way you move it, it fits nicely. So curious if any of you guys have had the same issues. It does suck because like I've purchased $350 MBRP crappy exhaust for my Silverado that I expected to fit rough, that fit fantastic, and you spend over $2,000 on something like this, a name brand, and I'll be honest, the welds weren't that great. Like it just didn't look that great, and obviously fitment was also bad. So nice thing is it does sound good. Right now, I'm giving this exhaust like a 6 out of 10. As far as performance goes, I don't know. Once again, it could be placebo because I just put an exhaust and X-Pipe on the car. However, it does feel like it has a little bit more of that top end pull, which is kind of nice. Climbing up into like, you know, the 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 RPMs, it does feel like it's still pulling, whereas before it kind of fell on its face a little bit. But once again, it could be placebo. Once we do a couple more things to the car and have it tuned, we'll definitely be taking way full advantage at that point of all the performance mods. So with that being all said, I don't want to bore you guys for too long. I'm going to go cruising. If you haven't liked the video already, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, join the family, join the Corvette content, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.